Section 1 from the book of Genesis. Jacob said to Rebekah his mother, "Behold, Esau my brother is a hairy man, and I am a smooth man. What if my father touches me? I will seem to him as a deceiver, and I would bring a curse on myself and not a blessing." His mother said to him, "Let your curse be on me, my son. Only obey my voice, and go get them for me." He went and got them, and brought them to his mother. His mother made savoury food such as his father loved. Rebekah took the good clothes of Esau, her elder son, which were with her in the house, and put them on Jacob, her younger son. She put the skins of the young goats on his hands and on the smooth of his neck. She gave the savoury food and the bread which she had prepared into the hand of her son Jacob. He came to his father and said, "My father." He said, "Here I am. Who are you, my son?" Jacob said to his father, "I am Esau, your firstborn. I have done what you asked me to do. Please arise, sit, and eat of my venison, that your soul may bless me." Isaac said to his son, "How is it that you have found it so quickly, my son?" He said, "Because for everyone your God gave me success." Isaac said to Jacob, "Please come near, that I may feel you, my son, whether you are really my son Esau or not." Jacob went near to Isaac his father. He felt him and said, "The voice is Jacob's voice, but the hands are the hands of Esau." He didn't recognize him because his hands were hairy like his brother Esau's hands. So he blessed him. He said, "Are you really my son Esau?" He said, "I am." He said, "Bring it near to me, and I will eat of my son's venison, that my soul may bless you." He brought it near to him, and he ate. He brought him wine, and he drank. His father Isaac said to him, "Come near now, and kiss me, my son." He came near and kissed him. He smelled the smell of his clothing, and blessed him, and said, "Behold, the smell of my son is as the smell of a field which forever one has blessed. God give you of the dew of the sky, of the abundance of the earth, and plenty of grain and new wine. Let peoples serve you, and nations bow down to you. Be ruler over your brothers. Let your mother's sons bow down to you. Cursed be everyone who curses you. Blessed be everyone who blesses you." Section 2 from the book of Judges. Then the Philistines went up and encamped in Judah and spread themselves in Lehi. The men of Judah said, "Why have you come up against us?" They said, "We have come up to bind Samson, to do to him as he has done to us." Then 3,000 men of Judah went down to the cleft of the rock of Etam and said to Samson, "Don't you know that the Philistines are rulers over us? What then is this that you have done to us?" He said to them, "As they did to me, so I have done to them." They said to him, "We have come down to bind you, that we may deliver you into the hand of the Philistines." Samson said to them, "Swear to me that you will not fall on me yourselves." They spoke to him, saying, "No, but we will bind you fast and deliver you into their hand, but surely we will not kill you." They bound him with 2 new ropes and brought him up from the rock. When he came to Lehi, the Philistines shouted as they met him, and the spirit of forever one came mightily on him, and the ropes that were on his arms became as flax that was burned with fire, and his bands dropped from off his hands. He found a fresh jawbone of a donkey, and reached out his hand and took it, and struck 1,000 men with it. Samson said, "With the jawbone of a donkey, heaps on heaps. With the jawbone of a donkey, I have struck 1,000 men." When he had made an end of speaking, he cast away the jawbone out of his hand, and that place was called Ramath Lehi. He was very thirsty, and called on Forever One, and said, "You have given this great deliverance by the hand of your servant. And now shall I die for thirst, and fall into the hand of the uncircumcised?" But God split the hollow place that is in Lehi, and water came out of it. When he had drunk, his spirit came again, and he revived. Therefore its name was called En Hakor, which is in Lehi to this day. He judged Israel in the days of the Philistines 20 years. Samson went to Gaza and saw there a prostitute and went into her. The Gazites were told, saying, "Samson is here." They surrounded him and laid wait for him all night in the gate of the city, and were quiet all the night, saying, "Let be until morning light, then we will kill him." Samson lay until midnight, and arose at midnight, and laid hold of the doors of the gate of the city, and the 2 posts, and plucked them up, bar and all, and put them on his shoulders, and carried them up to the top of the mountain that is before Hebron. It came to pass afterward that he loved a woman in the valley of Sorek, whose name was Delilah. The lords of the Philistines came up to her, and said to her, "Entice him, and see in which his great strength lies, and by what means we may prevail against him, that we may bind him to afflict him, and we will each give you 1,100 pieces of silver." Delilah said to Samson, "Please tell me where your great strength lies, and what you might be bound by to afflict you." Samson said to her, "If they bind me with 7 green cords that were never dried, then I shall become weak and be as another man." Then the lords of the Philistines brought up to her 7 green cords which had not been dried, and she bound him with them. Now she had an ambush waiting in the inner room. She said to him, "The Philistines are on you, Samson." He broke the cords as a string of tow is broken when it touches the fire, so his strength was not known. Delilah said to Samson, "Behold, you have mocked me and told me lies. Now please tell me with which you might be bound." He said to her, "If they only bind me with new ropes with which no work has been done, then I shall become weak and be as another man." So Delilah took new ropes and bound him with them, and said to him, "The Philistines are on you, Samson." The ambush was waiting in the inner room. He broke them off his arms like a thread. Section 3, from the first book of Chronicles. Moreover, David and the captains of the army set apart for the service certain of the sons of Asaph, and of Heman, and of Jeduthun, who should prophesy with harps, with stringed instruments, and with cymbals, and the number of those who did the work according to their service was, of the sons of Asaph, Zakur, and Joseph, and Nathaniah, and Asharela, the sons of Asaph under the hand of Asaph, who prophesied after the order of the king. Of Jeduthun, the sons of Jeduthun were Gedaliah, Zeri, Jeshaiah, Shimei, Hashabiah, and Mattithiah, 6 in all, under the hands of their father Jeduthun, who prophesied in giving thanks and praising for everyone with the harp. Of Heman, the sons of Heman were Bukiah, Mattaniah, Uzziel, Shebuel, Jerimoth, Hananiah, Hanani, Eliatha, Gedalti, Ramamti Ezer, Joshbekasha, Malothi, Hothir, and Mahazioth. All these were the sons of Heman the king's seer in the words of God to lift up the horn. God gave to Heman 14 sons and 3 daughters. All these were under the hands of their father for song in the house of everyone, with cymbals, stringed instruments, and harps, for the service of the house of God, Asaph, Jeduthun, and Heman, being under the order of the king. The number of them, with their brothers, who were instructed in singing to for everyone, even all who were skillful, was 288. They cast lots for their offices, all alike, the small as well as the great, the teacher as the scholar. Now the first lot came out for Asaph to Joseph, the second to Gedaliah. He and his brothers and sons were 12. The third to Zakur, his sons and his brothers, 12. The fourth to Isri, his sons and his brothers, 12. The fifth to Nathaniah, his sons and his brothers, 12. The sixth to Bukiah, his sons and his brothers, 12. The seventh to Jesharela, his sons and his brothers, 12. The eighth to Jeshaiah, his sons and his brothers, 12. The ninth to Mattaniah, his sons and his brothers, 12. The 10th to Shimei, his sons and his brothers, 12. The 11th to Azarel, his sons and his brothers, 12. The 12th to Hashabiah, his sons and his brothers, 12. For the 13th, Shubael, his sons and his brothers, 12. For the 14th, Mattithiah, his sons and his brothers, 12. For the 15th, to Jerimoth, his sons and his brothers, 12. For the 16th, to Hananiah, his sons and his brothers, 12. For the 17th, to Joshbekashah, his sons and his brothers, 12. For the 18th, to Hanani, his sons and his brothers, 12. For the 19th, to Malothi, his sons and his brothers, 12. For the 20th, to Eliathah, his sons and his brothers, 12. For the 21st, to Hothir, his sons and his brothers, 12. For the 22nd, to Gedalti, his sons and his brothers, 12. For the 23rd, to Mahazioth, his sons and his brothers, 12. For the 24th, to Ramamti Ezer, his sons and his brothers, 12. Section 4, from the book of Matthew. As they were eating, Jesus took bread, gave thanks for it, and broke it. He gave to the disciples and said, "Take, eat. This is my body." He took the cup, gave thanks, and gave to them, saying, "All of you drink it, for this is my blood of the new covenant, which is poured out for many for the remission of sins. But I tell you that I will not drink of this fruit of the vine from now on until that day when I drink it anew with you in my Father's kingdom." When they had sung a hymn, they went out to the Mount of Olives. Then Jesus said to them, "All of you will be made to stumble because of me tonight. For it is written, I will strike the shepherd, and the sheep of the flock will be scattered. But after I am raised up, I will go before you into Galilee." But Peter answered him, "Even if all will be made to stumble because of you, I will never be made to stumble." Jesus said to him, "Most certainly I tell you that tonight, before the rooster crows, you will deny me 3 times. Peter said to him, "Even if I must die with you, I will not deny you." All of the disciples also said likewise. Then Jesus came with them to a place called Gethsemane and said to his disciples, "Sit here while I go there and pray." He took with him Peter and the 2 sons of Zebedee and began to be sorrowful and severely troubled. Then he said to them, "My soul is exceedingly sorrowful, even to death. Stay here and watch with me." He went forward a little, fell on his face and prayed, saying, "My Father, if it is possible, let this cup pass away from me. Nevertheless, not what I desire, but what you desire." He came to the disciples and found them sleeping and said to Peter, "What, couldn't you watch with me for 1 hour? Watch and pray that you don't enter into temptation. The spirit is indeed willing, but the flesh is weak." Again, a second time he went away and prayed, saying, "My Father, if this cup can't pass away from me unless I drink it, your desire be done."